Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. We talk comics, movies, TV, pop culture, all the cool stuff that we love. I'm your host, Michael Dolce, and as usual, I have my co-host, Hassan Godwin, Lord of the Radio.
I have a cold.
He is Lord no more. And
congestion of the radio today. Unfortunately.
So congestion on the radio. Congestion's no good. That's
yeah.
I scoff at the congestion.
Don't scoff.
Well,
embrace the congestion.
Embrace the congestion.
Congestion is your co-pilot today.
Did you get sick because of the snow?
I got sick before the snow, and then the snow came and made it worse.
All right,
it made me want to die.
Well, that's never what we want. We want you alive and well.
Thank you. Me too.
Because we got a great show tonight. We got a great show. We've got we've got a lot of things to talk about. A quick shout out to Pop the Moose, who wants to listen live but cannot. So I got a request to give a shout out.
Sorry, Pop the Moose.
Well, yeah, I find it, difficult to think this, but I mean, because we're on Facebook. We're on Facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire. We're on TalkRadio.nyc. We're on SoundCloud. We're on iTunes. We're on a whole bunch, and so I feel like there is no excuse not to watch us or not to listen to us. But
no, there's no excuse. There's never been an excuse. Period. Even excuses aren't excuses.
It's a good point. Very good point. Very good point.
Whenever I can make them sound coherent, I try to make a good point.
I just got a welcome letter from Stitcher, so we're also on Stitcher.com as well too.
All right,
so,
see, there's no excuse.
We're climbing. We're climbing.
No
all right.
Excuse.
So we are going to have Bobby Semelsberger. Is that like?
Wow.
Is that? Did I?
Wow.
I must have butchered that. Semelsberger. I don't know. He hosts that 90s podcast. He got us thinking. Now, we were talking...
We got to work on that before we go live, by the way.
Research. Preparation.
we got to work on name pronunciation.
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
Well, he'll correct us. He'll correct us when he comes on.
Yeah, but that's not when you want to find out.
No, I know. So we were talking, and Dan Lawson joining us on the live feed.
Hello,
Stephanie Dolce,
Dan.
one of our esteemed patrons.
Hello, Stephanie.
Joining on the live feed as well, too. So we were actually talking in the green room. Yes, that we have green room access for all of our $5 patrons. Go to patreon.com/Secrets of the Sire, and you could become a green room, access guy, just like Brian Phillips and Steve Ovecki. But we were talking how things kind of like come together. It's kind of funny, the Periscope feed lost its audio. We'll have to figure that out. Technical difficulties. That's crazy. It's just funny because there's always a like how things kind of come together. We booked Bobby a long time ago, and we had him coming on, and I didn't realize we're gonna try to do the top comic book movies of the '90s because 90s podcast theme. Right. I'm like, it's March freaking Madness. Yeah. Like, what better way to do this than to reach out? We got a whole bunch of people. We got Dan Lawson on the Facebook feed. We got a whole bunch of people commenting left and right on all the posts that we've kind of had during the week. But we're going to start with 16. We're going to break it down to 8.
We're going to start,
and we're
going
to hopefully.
You just throw that number at me.
No. Didn't you read? Didn't you read the outline?
I don't read. I don't.
Any program director and co-hosts get to read the show outline.
Nah, I don't read them.
And no. We're gonna break it down.
I get to, but the Lord of the Radio doesn't read it. That's why I became Lord of the Radio.
That's why. You're like, I refuse to read.
Yeah.
That's why.
I have.
Like, how do I avoid reading? I'll become a radio guy.
Yeah. No. I just applied for Lord of the Radio just right away. I bypassed Minion and all the other steps up.
So we're gonna start with 16.
Start with 16.
We're gonna break it down to 8.
We're gonna break it down to 8.
And time willing, we're gonna get down to a final 4, and then we're gonna throw
top 4 comic book movies.
Yes, from the 90s.
Of the 90s.
And then we're gonna throw it on the internet, and we're gonna let the internet decide.
The internet.
See how I did that? And then we'll update you next week.
We should let the internet decide anything. The internet has been destroying
we are
our culture.
We are at the internet now. Welcome, Espada Primera
Star. The radio star, and I'm the Lord of the Radio.
If
I'm being murdered by the internet.
But well, speaking of the murdering, that's a good. Very good
how
segue.
Did you do that?
Very good segue.
How
here.
did you do that?
Before we begin, we do have to tackle this one. Just distressing.
Yes, go ahead.
Awful
distressing,
news
awful news. I know what this is. This is about. Let me think. It's a Keanu Reeves kind of.
But he's not in it.
No, but it's a vehicle. It's a Keanu Reeves-esque. It's Reevesian kind of.
If we counted action movies,
right,
in our movie madness, 90s movie madness, it would be the best 90s movie. Right?
No. Yeah.
It's tough.
No.
It's tough. It's tough to say, right?
No. I couldn't. I like it. Excuse me. I don't like it. I love it.
Yeah.
But I don't know about the best.
I think it might be the best.
It wasn't best.
It is arguably the best 90s.
Absolutely.
Arguably the best 90s movie, and it's getting a reboot. We're talking about The Matrix.
No, it's not. It's not getting a reboot.
More Matrix. Bet on it, according to Hollywood Reporter. It's still not clear what shape the project will take, but sources tell the Hollywood Reporter
shape of a turn.
that Warner Brothers is in the early stages of developing a relaunch of The Matrix.
Why?
Considered one of the most original films in cinematic history.
I know why they're going to do it. Because the remake of Total Recall was such a tour de force. It was such a cinematic, religious experience.
Welcome, Pat McGurk, and he, in bold caps, said Michael B. Jordan, yes. Sources say there's a potential interest in Michael B. Jordan, a star, but Zach Penn to write.
If I was Michael B. Jordan, I'd be like, no. Pass.
At this point, the Wachowski siblings, I like how they wrote that now. Because
it's touchy how to address them.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a little touchy.
Yeah. Who wrote and directed the original are not involved, and the nature of their potential engagement with a new version has not been determined.
Oh.
So a couple things here. One, Michael B. Jordan.
So it's news without any news, which is our typical news these days.
Well, sure.
Rumor has it that something is about to happen that we don't know anything about, that hasn't happened yet, it hasn't started, nobody knows anything about it, no one's done anything with it, but it's coming. What do you think?
Jersey Jedi also pointed out the Point Break remake, another remake that we just didn't need. Yeah. We're all missing the most glaring one that happened this past summer. Who are you going to call? Yeah.
I didn't miss it. I had that surgically removed. I had a procedure to get rid of that.
So, I mean, the funny thing about it, though, too, and we kind of talked about it in the green room as well, is the fact that if Michael B. Jordan does star, now Will Smith was originally supposed to star. He passed on it.
He's kicking himself.
Oh, yeah.
Continuously.
I mean, absolutely.
Yeah, he's got a hole now from kicking himself so hard.
Absolutely.
You can see it in the last 5 movies he's done that's been horrible.
And don't get me wrong, the second and third Matrix films were pretty subpar. I mean, I think that's a collective.
Were terrible.
Well, yeah. It's being kind.
Yeah.
But they were awful.
Yeah. They were god-awful.
Now, Dan Lawson said, don't the Wachowski siblings own the rights? I thought it was an original story. Well, I mean,
the woman who wrote the original Matrix, who won the lawsuit, she's got rights.
Who is that?
I don't know the details.
Is it the Wachowski sibling now?
No, it's not the Wachowski sibling.
I thought you were being like super politically correct by being like the woman that wrote it, because they're both women now.
They're both women now. Right. Yes,
but no, you were not. You were actually saying
there was a third woman who was a woman even when they were men.
Yes,
and she wrote it, and they stole it.
Yeah.
And they put it out, and it became, the biggest movie ever.
Right.
And she said, "Hey, I wrote that," and they were like, "Prove it." And she said, "Lawsuit," and she won.
Oh, good.
So,
wow.
Yeah. In the meantime, they went ahead and made the second and third one on their own.
Okay.
And you can see the marked difference in the quality of the storytelling and the writing. Now,
actually, you could see the marked difference in everything they've ever done since then, right?
Indeed. With the exception, maybe, of Bound. I thought Bound was a pretty solid movie.
That being said, from a visual standpoint, though, I mean, they were in charge of the visuals and the fighting and things like that.
There's you got to temper the visuals with story, and The Matrix was a perfect temperance of visual and story.
Sure.
And it was, I mean, it's dated now. Unfortunately, if you watch it now, you're like, oh. And some of those phones, when they whip out those phones,
Yes.
you're like, oh
well,
my
that
God.
I agree with. But I mean,
rip that right out of a phone booth.
No, but it takes place in 1999. I mean, so chronologically speaking, they're not like dating themselves. It's not like watching like a futuristic.
I'm not saying
sci-fi
the movie
episode
is now wrong,
like Back to the Future 2, and there's fax machines on every corner. You know,
or some other movie like I can't even think of I can't. But there are other futuristic movies that have the World Trade Center in it. So
right.
Yes, understood. Like Independence Day. Independence Day had the World Trade Center in it.
Oh yeah,
Not good. Not good. So, but it's not dated like that. Yes, but it is unfortunately because it was such a hipster, contemporary motif.
Yeah,
to have those giant phones kind of does date you.
It's a Zach Morris.
There's
no question.
Doesn't matter. It's a staple. It's wonderful. It's fantastic. It was written by someone else, and that's why it's so good.
Dan T. Lawson blames Barry Allen for the alternate timeline.
Well, we made Barry Allen for everything.
Well,
does that mean Barry Allen's... Never mind. I was going to go someplace. I was going to go somewhere I'm not going to go.
All right. Well, we are going to go instead. We're going to give thumbs down to this. We're not even going to... We're just reporting it.
There's
because
no
that
need
just
for
is
it.
what it is.
There's no need for it. It's not... I mean, the other one hasn't... The other one hasn't had its time to really ferment, and I mean, like when they brought out the Total Recall remake, Len Wiseman Total Recall, and I was like, well, why? It was so recent, and I did look, and the original Total Recall had been 20 years, but the movie was so innovative that it was still relevant. And so there was no need for an upgrade.
Sure.
Matrix is probably not going to need an upgrade.
No.
For decades.
No, not at all. At all. Like there is
30 years from now they could revisit it.
A continuation, agreed. Revisit the world.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Make another one.
You don't need to do it again.
Make another one.
All right. So when we come back, but before we go to break, this is Selection Wednesday for us. Now, usually it's Selection Sunday on March Madness, but our shows are on Wednesdays, so that's why it's Selection Wednesday.
Right, gotcha.
We are going to break down so we are doing our 90s comic book movie March Madness. And we are going to outline the possibilities, and we're going to ask you guys at home, if you're on our Facebook feed right now, facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire, at Michael_Dolce for Periscope.
All about you.
We want to get down to 16 possible contenders, and then we want to seed them. We want to seed them before segment 3 when Bobby... Oh God, I'm just gonna butcher this. Semelsberger. I got it. I totally got it. I totally got it that time. Comes on. So here are the candidates when we come back.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Hello, I'm JC.
I'm Joan. And welcome to 21st Century Entrepreneur.
We bring education,
insight,
knowledge,
awareness,
trouble,
craziness, and fun.
For you, the entrepreneur who's looking to build your business.
And your community. Listen every Friday from noon to 1 Eastern on talkradio.nyc. And you can tweet us at 21st CE Radio or Talk Alternative.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire, comic book movie podcast. We do this every week on talkradio.nyc. I want to give a shout out to our beloved patrons, dedicated fans Omar Morales, Einar Peterson, Matt Byer, John Hoff III, Ashley Haikai, Program Director Stephanie Dolce. Executive Producers Steve Hovecki and Brian Phillips. And as always, our Uber fan Christina Dolce. Call in. I always forget the call-in number, 877-480-4120, because we're about to break it down bracket style. So we're doing this comic book movie.
Be the bracketeer.
Yeah. Very nice. We're doing this 90s comic book movie bracket, and the one thing that was kind of clear as we were going back and forth is there's not a lot to choose from. I mean, in terms of, there's no way to even, all right, look, March Madness is supposed to be 64 things, right?
Right,
and,
okay,
that's not happening.
All right.
32.
Not getting 64.
Now we're going to round 2. No, that's not happening. We have just enough to figure out a best of 16, and here are the possibilities that we came up with. Now, again, chime in if we're missing anything or if you didn't hear something, but for the most part, I think we thoroughly got through everything we possibly could.
We tried.
For this.
We did.
So, as my shirt implies, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
Technically.
Are we counting those individually?
Yes, we'll count them individually. Because, look, a sequel could be better than the original, right?
Okay.
So we're going to go with that.
Fair enough.
We're going to go with The Crow.
Yes.
Judge Dredd.
Yes.
Men in Black.
Yes.
Based on a comic book, remember?
Yes,
I mean,
yes, it is.
The other criteria for this, by the way, is no animation. Not that there was a lot of animated superhero movies in the 90s, but I think just animation is separate when it comes to any of these kind of things, just because what you can do in an animated series versus what you can do live action, especially at the time.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Batman Mask of the Phantasm. A lot of people were chiming in on the Facebook posts this week saying, where's that rank? And it's like, well, it does. It's awesome, but not right now.
No.
Not right now. Not for this. All right.
It's too easy.
Blade.
Yes.
Darkman.
Yes.
The Rocketeer.
Yes.
Phantom.
Yes.
Batman Returns.
Or no.
Batman Returns.
Yes.
Batman Forever.
Yes.
Batman and Robin. The Mask.
Yes.
Tank Girl. Steel. the unreleased Captain America and Fantastic Four movies. Barbed Wire.
You know what? Yeah.
Pam Anderson.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
Dick Tracy.
Yeah. I enjoyed
Spawn.
Spawn.
An easily forgettable movie.
Yes.
But it did come out in the 90s.
Yes, it did.
You were quick to point out the Nick Fury TV movie. I'm going to eliminate it because it's a TV movie. Just from the qualification.
It's a 90s comic book.
All right.
Come on.
All right, we'll throw it in there.
You also have to throw in Generation X, the Gen X movie.
Oh, good God. Okay. All right. I'm going to write this down. That hurt to type.
Yes. I saw it once and only once. I don't think there's anything I've seen only once. There are movies I hate that I've seen at least 4 or 5 times. So
we've got Mystery Men.
Yes. But technically, it's a comic book motif. It's technically not. It wasn't its own comic
Wasn't really
book.
based on a comic book, though, right?
But it is in the spirit of comic book. There's a lot of comic book industry jokes in that movie, so it's in the spirit. It's in keeping.
I'm going to say.
No, it is.
I'm going to say we don't allow it, and I'll tell you why.
What?
Or we put
the
this
list
way,
is so small.
Wait, but then put this then.
Well, all right.
Chasing Amy. See, if you're letting in Mystery Men, but if you're letting in Mystery Men,
no, Chasing Amy just talks about comics. There's no superheroes in it.
Okay, all right.
Mystery Men actually has superheroes in it.
All right, so we're gonna break it down to 16 with some play-in matches because they have some play-in matches here too, right?
They're outliers.
I think we stop me if this does not make sense. A number 4 seed. We're gonna put the Phantom as a number 4 seed.
Yeah, all right.
We're going to put Steel versus Nick Fury. So Steel actually has to take on Nick Fury to earn their way into a 4 seed.
Okay. Fair enough.
We'll go with Mystery Men. I'll allow that in.
All right. Okay. As a 4 slot.
Unless actually no. Actually, you know what? Let's have Mystery Men fight Darkman. Because I don't think Darkman was a comic book first, right?
No, Darkman was not its own comic book.
Right, so we're going to have those two pit each. They're going to go against each other simply for the right to be a 4th seed.
All right.
And then we're going to go Barbed Wire as the other 4th seed.
All right.
Okay?
I guess that's fair.
So we got a couple people.
But that already betrays our prejudice towards the qualities of these movies. But that's okay.
But look, these are 4 seeds. So there's 4 different brackets.
Right.
And they're the lowest
but
possible.
4th place is 4th place.
They're the highest possible seed. But doesn't mean they can't advance. It doesn't mean they can't upset.
That's true. Depending on what happens. Okay,
exactly. See, it's March Madness.
We're bracketing.
We're just bracketing.
I got you.
We're already getting some calls for Nick Fury. Randy Hogan has shouted Hasselhoff and Fury.
Yes. See?
So I mean, that's pretty good. But we're not. We'll put it to a vote, but not yet. We're gonna
not yet.
see.
All right, fair
Our
enough.
3 seeds: Rocketeer,
All right.
Judge Dredd.
Okay.
I'm going to go Batman Forever here because I think the consensus that I've read across is that Batman Returns might be a 2 seed. Batman Forever would be a 3 seed.
Batman Forever would be a 4 seed, actually, in my opinion. But no. You know what?
Well,
I'm not gonna mess this up.
Well, let me ask you a question. No, that's okay. But this is what we this is why we have it here.
Because it was Batman Forever.
Which 4 seed would you put ahead? Would you bump up to a 3 to replace Batman Forever? That's Phantom.
Batman Forever is fine as a 3 seed,
right? Because I don't think Steel and Nick Fury come even close. Mystery Men, Dark Man, no. Barbed Wire, no. Right?
I agreed with you. Yeah. I acquiesce.
Tank Girl as the other 3 seed.
Oh, all right.
All right.
I think it could particularly rate a little higher than that, just for its audaciousness.
Okay.
But
well, so by the way, folks, if you're listening at home and you're watching on Facebook, I'm actually going to post this to the Twitter feed at Michael_Dolce. I'm going to post this to the Facebook pages, so you'll get that out there.
We want to hear your opinions.
And we do want to hear your opinions. So we're up to the 2 seeds here before we go to break.
We're in 2 seeds.
We got Spawn as a 2 seed.
Okay.
Dick Tracy as a 2 seed.
Okay.
Batman Returns as a 2 seed.
All right.
The Mask as a 2 seed.
Okay, but some of those are potential top seeds. So
it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. So all right.
So here's what I got as the number 1 seeds before we go to break.
All right. Okay.
All right. We got my favorite vote here.
Yeah, I wonder what that is.
TMNT.
You're gonna have to talk to me about that. We're gonna have to discuss.
I'll tell you why. It's the best comic book adaptation ever. Now, were you a big fan of the Mirage Eastman Laird TV?
Yes.
It's
with
the exception of for some reason they wanted Raphael instead of Leonardo.
Yeah, it is an adaptation. The first 4 books,
and it manages to take all the best stuff into a cohesive story.
Oh yeah,
leaving out everything else. But we'll get into that.
We'll talk about it.
The Crow.
Yes.
Men in Black.
Yeah. Okay.
And Blade.
Yeah, all right. Those are top.
It's a pretty good. It's a pretty good 1 seeds right there. All right.
Those are top.
So for anybody out at home, we are going to post this on the Facebook page. Anybody listening on the podcast, because you can download us on SoundCloud.com/Secrets of the Sire, iTunes, Stitcher. Now we got a whole. We're just iHeartRadio potentially soon.
We be many places.
I'm going to leave this up. I'm going to pin it up on the Facebook pages. These are the seeds. This is what's going on, and we're going to spend the next segment with Bobby. There you go, just Bobby.
Excellent.
From
Bobby, no last name.
From that So 90s podcast, and he's going to help us narrow it from 16 to 8.
All right.
When we come back,
you're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
If you have an interest in marijuana, you want to know about marijuana, law, policy, and culture, then feel free to join me, Joseph A. Bondi, every Friday at 11 o'clock in the morning on my show In the Know 420 on TalkingAlternative.com.
Legalize the herb to continue to resist the passage of this necessary legislation.
Hi, this is Rob Kay.
And I'm Callie Alpert.
And we're hosts of The Rob and Callie Show. Are you looking for a show that talks about real stuff like life, love, the pursuit of being yourself?
Then you have come to the right place, because we cover topics ranging from chivalry to gratitude to your relationship with money and everything in between.
So listen to us on The Rob and Callie Show, Tuesdays, 8 to 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on talkradio.nyc.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We were just talking. We're doing our March Madness top 90s comic book movie bracket. I just posted it onto the Facebook page, so facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire. I just retweeted it as well, too, or I'm about to retweet it as well, too, so you can check out our seedings. Now, a couple things. One,
all up on that social media.
Well, that's number one, though. Now, the bracket is going to have TMNT versus Steel Nick Fury. Spawn versus Rocketeer. It's going to have bracket 2 is going to have The Crow versus Mystery Men / Darkman. Dick Tracy Judge Dredd. MIB bracket 3 is MIB versus Barbed Wire. Bracket 3 is going to have Batman Returns versus Batman Forever, and that's going to be the heated one. And bracket 4 is going to have Blade versus Phantom and The Mask versus Tank Girl. Try to line these things up in a very cohesive way, and I mean we could honestly do like 4 shows in this, but but at the risk of being monotonous and boring, I want to welcome our guest, the host of That's So 90s, and we're just going to call you Bobby because I'm just going to butcher your last name otherwise.
You guys nailed it before, though.
We did.
Semelsberger.
Yeah, Semelsberger. You guys
goodness.
have no idea how many times teachers growing up in elementary school butchered that last name.
Oh, God.
It was the worst.
We make it an art form. We make it an art form to butcher as many names as humanly possible. So,
and we didn't butcher this one.
You guys got it right. You nailed it.
All right, good. Well, that makes me feel pretty good about that.
We actually failed in butchering since we got it right. We actually blew it. But.
This is true, actually. That goes against our MO.
Against our policy.
Completely. So, Bobby, welcome to the show. Glad to have you on. Tell the viewers about your podcast first, and then we're just going to jump right in because you're going to help us narrow this down from 16, technically 20, down to 8.
All right, yeah, I'm looking at the list right now, and man, my heart is racing. These are some tough ones, but yeah. So I host the That's So 90s podcast, and it's a podcast where we are looking back at just different movies, TV show, boy bands, just all different pop culture from the 90s. I have different guests on from different podcasts each week, and we just get together. We watch these things that we haven't watched in 20 years, and we go, are these really as good as we all remember? Because we all remember the 90s was such an amazing decade.
It was.
And then we watch
these
things, and I'm like, how did I make my mom go to the theaters and watch this with me? I feel so bad now.
It's
so
pretty bad.
That's pretty much the show. It's a lot of self-reflecting on what my life has been up until this point. But no, it's good. It's fun. It's fun, and every episode is getting better and better. So yeah.
What's been the real quick the big standout that describes exactly what you just described to us, where you're like, holy cow, this was terrible, and I used to love it. What's a standout to you that you can think of right off the top of your head?
Well, I mean, like we did like Good Burger, for example, right? Like I'm a 90s kid. I love Good Burger, man. Keenan and Kel, those were like my best friends, I feel like, growing up. And you kind of just watch it with a different perspective, like as an adult, and you're like, Ed, like the main character of Ed, like he's just like he can't even function in real life. Like who would put him near your food? You don't want him near your food. Like this guy doesn't even barely knows how to get dressed. Like it's just like, you know. So you're watching things and you start thinking about, like, as an adult, and you start thinking of things like, would a kid like this? Why did I like this? They get in straitjackets. They go to like an insane asylum at some point. They go like basically Arkham Asylum halfway through that movie.
Yeah, they do
at one point. And it's just like, and they're throwing ice cream. They like steal a van, and I'm like, what? This isn't a kids movie.
And Linda
this is a bad influence.
is in that movie.
So,
oh boy,
that movie has Linda Cordellini in it, who also played Daphne in the Scooby-Doo movies.
Yeah, she does. Yeah. She plays Crazy Lady number 1.
She was one of the crazy, and she's also Hawkeye's wife in the Avengers 2.
Oh yeah, look at that!
It up, man.
This is why I have Hassan on the show, though. See, this is why I have him here, because he's got all this useless information. He finally gets to use it.
Got an outlet finally.
All right, so let's dive right in. Let's do the play-in games. Okay, you work for Fox Sports, so I got to imagine you're a March Madness fan, correct?
Everyone around me is crazy in the March Madness.
There you go. See, that's how I am. And I
actually take the day off. Tomorrow
really?
I take the day off.
Really?
From 12 o'clock till 12 o'clock. I'm going to be doing nothing.
You're not taking the day off.
I'm putting my away message up.
All right.
I am away.
Okay, fair enough.
I am away.
Well
all
done.
right. So that we have, as everyone knows who follows March Madness, you have the Tuesday night games, which kind of suck because they're like really awful teams that have no shot of winning. But they do a play-in game. So we're going to do the 2 play-in game matchup: Steel versus the Nick Fury TV movie, and Mystery Men versus Dark Man. Now, Mystery Men versus Dark Man technically goes against our.
Yes, it goes against the grain there because
in terms of what our rules were.
Yes.
But that being said, if we didn't let those two play it out, we'd have to have Batman and Robin take their place, and we've just eliminated that. We eliminated that right off the bat. Do you agree or disagree with our assessment here?
I mean, okay, here's the thing. I know this is going to be an unfavorable opinion. Okay, we just did a show on the 90s Batman. And when I say 90s, I mean Joel Schumacher, right?
Yep.
Not even, we didn't talk about Batman Returns. We just talked about Batman and Robin, Batman Forever. And I found that Batman and Robin at least is so good at being terrible, right? It's so entertaining with all the Mr. Freeze ice puns and the bat nipples and the bat credit card, whereas Batman Forever is so middling that it's not good, but it's also not bad. It's just boring. Whereas Batman and Robin, what a great time. You just have a couple of beers
how bad it is.
and just get real wasted, and you're like, this is the best movie I've ever watched. So I'm just saying, it's not a good movie, but it is entertaining.
It's a great bad movie.
Yeah,
it's a great bad movie.
It's a wonderful,
it's perfect.
Like
Perfect
celluloid gut punch. It really is. So you're like, oh, I'm hit watching this movie.
So we have a saying on the show too. We have Van Helsing expectations, right? does a movie become a Van Helsing? And how I came to this was that whenever Van Helsing came out, maybe the year or two following, I had heard such bad things about it that by the time I actually watched it, it really wasn't that bad because my expectations
were so low.
That it was just the worst thing, known to man.
Right.
So are we now looking at Batman and Robin in hindsight with those same, things in mind where it's like, this is the worst thing you're ever going to see. I want to watch that.
Yeah, kind of, because when that movie came out, we were all in the mindset of this could potentially be the last Batman movie we're ever going to see in our lives. Like, they just screwed the pooch for the next 10 years or 20 years, whatever.
There was a lot of venom.
Now with the Christopher Nolan trilogy, we've already had these great Batman movies. So it's like, why can't we have some great ones and have some bad ones? And we all know we're getting Batman until we're dead. Like, there's going to be Batman movies ever, right?
We're going to be murdered watching Batman.
He makes a compelling argument. Should we? All right, so let me ask you this then.
Yeah, but we can't. We're not bringing it on.
Okay.
We're not bringing Batman around.
All right. You make a compelling argument, but we're gonna leave it off because we only have an hour. We have an hour show. We have him on for 20 minutes.
It's got gang members with neon makeup on.
We'll do an all-time campiest Final Four, and we'll figure out if that goes there. All right,
that'll definitely go in.
Real quick, Steel versus Nick Fury, 2 awful movies.
Hey,
I mean, which one's the less awfler one? And we'll do it around the room. And there's 3 of us here, so I was gonna say Sam can act as a as a tiebreaker if need be, but I can't. But obviously, there's 3 of us.
Yeah.
So. All right, so give me a vote. Give me a vote, Bobby. What do you think? Steel or Nick Fury?
I'm going. I love Steel growing up, and,
All right.
and I haven't seen it in almost like 15 years. But things were limited in the 90s. We didn't have many superhero movies to turn to, so I was like, Shaq, Steel. He's jumping around wearing a giant metal costume. Count me in. Whereas Nick Fury, it's like David Hasselhoff with an eye patch. Get that out of here, man. No interest in watching that ever.
So we have Steel, who is basically an obscure character from a very much not beloved storyline in Superman, versus David Hasselhoff in an eye patch. Hassan, what do you think?
I don't know. Nick Fury had Lisa Rinna in it, and she was an all right looking woman. But I got to go with Steel.
He's going Steel.
All right, don't need a tiebreaker.
All right, no tiebreaker needed. James Quarandango said this is like asking which eye you want poked out. All right, we're going to say Steel is the first winner, and we're updating this live as we go. We're going to pin this all week because I have a feeling we're going to get to basically an Elite 8, and we'll run this through the next couple shows too as well.
Then we're going to have to sit in the marathon and watch them.
Oh my God! No. Maybe the Elite 8. I'll do the Elite 8.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, Mystery Men versus Dark Man. Hassan, why don't you start us off, and then we'll go to Bobby next.
It's a tough one because I like both of them. I would say just due to innovation and just style and audaciousness, you got to go with Mystery Men.
Okay, Bobby, what do you think?
This is hard because I've never been a huge Mystery Men fan. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's so underrated and stuff. I don't know. I think Darkman is more underrated. I'd say that's a better made movie, I guess. That'd be more underrated than Mystery Men. It's just kind of like it's a subpar comedy in my opinion. So I'm going the opposite. I'm going Darkman.
I will be the tiebreaker, and I'm going to go Darkman also. I think Mystery Men just didn't. Again, this is not really. We're not choosing like caviar or or like something else gourmet. That's really
nobody's heartbroken in this round.
No, this is whether we're going to Chipotle or we're going to Grace Papaya. That's essentially what we're doing here.
No, I don't want to play anymore.
Those are the two restaurants that are down the street from us.
I lose and I don't want to play anymore.
All right, we're going to go winner Darkman.
No, you know what? Darkman had probably. In conjunction with our Matrix motif, it had one of the best ad campaigns of all time. Because if you remember, it's Who is Darkman?
Yes.
And those were the commercials. Who is Darkman? And it actually made you go to see the film just to find out who Darkman was, because we didn't know.
Who was he, by the way? I totally forget.
It was Liam Neeson.
Oh, yeah.
Liam Neeson was the Darkman. Until they got to Darkman 4, and it became...
Until they kidnapped his family.
It became the Mummy, the guy who did the Mummy.
And he had some very special skills.
Yeah. Yes.
There you go.
Yes. Yeah.
Moving right along.
I don't know why we had to go there.
Moving right along. All right. So now we got through we're through bracket 1 and bracket 2 in the playing games. Let's go to bracket 3. No, let's do bracket. Yeah, we'll do bracket 3. Men in Black versus Barbed Wire. And I think let's talk about Men in Black for a second before we continue. The beauty of Men in Black is obviously, look, it's a known franchise now. It's a blockbuster franchise. It's a franchise that had Will Smith in his heyday. It actually though is the funny thing, because it's really the reverse of how comic book movies are done today. Now, I mean, it's usually you build up a big following, iconic characters, then take them to screen and just kind of like build off that success. Men in Black did the complete opposite.
No, it just went straight to.
It was one issue.
No one knew it was
like one issue of a comic book, and it was pretty crappy too. I mean, it was not very good.
Was it done by Bart Sears?
No,
Bart Sears.
No.
I remember seeing promo material done by Bart Sears.
All right, Bobby. Let's just now Barbed Wire. What do you think of Barbed Wire? I mean, does it have any redeeming qualities whatsoever besides Pam's
Malibu
gigantic Malibus?
The DVD cover art. Definitely something to oogle at for a little bit.
Oogle at the Google.
Oogling.
Yeah,
oogling is
important. It's got to be Men in Black. It's like for everything we just talked about. It's like the fact that it's now a franchise and such a memorable part of our culture. Just from every aspect that movie brought us, it made wearing suits even cooler than it was before, and you have Will Smith, like you said. This is peak Will Smith. This is the Will Smith we all look back and we remember and be like, oh man, he was the funniest. And for him and Tommy Lee Jones to have the chemistry that they had, who saw that coming? Like they are a great on-screen pair.
And this is also
David Schwimmer. They offered David Schwimmer that Will Smith role originally.
I did not know that.
Ooh.
That could have been bad.
Geez,
I don't even. See
that would have been bad.
That would have been
I can't
bad.
even picture that.
This is also pre-Wild Wild West Will Smith, so he really. This is really good stuff here. All right, we're gonna call Men in Black over Barbed Wire, right?
What?
No,
I didn't get a go.
Well, you want to go?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Men in Black.
All right, good. Men in Black over Barbed Wire for bracket
game,
3.
Darn it.
Bracket 4, Blade versus Phantom. Now, Phantom to me,
Blade.
Well, we know that's going to be the eventual outcome. All right, so Hassan has said his piece. Bobby, to me, Phantom is
Blade.
a movie that I feel like could work better nowadays than when it came out in the 90s. I feel like in the 90s it wasn't. I could see a Phantom movie come out now. I'm not saying reboot it.
Blade.
I'm not saying do anything. Well, no, we got it. We got that. But I want to talk about. I want to give Phantom its due before
I'm saying Phantom even now is not Blade.
No, of course
even
not.
now.
Of course
contemporary.
We're just discussing Phantom and how I feel like
all
it came
Phantom
in the wrong.
can do is not be Blade.
Let's let our guests speak. Any redeeming qualities of Phantom? My take is Phantom could have been.
Let me tell you, all I remember about Phantom is he rides around on a horse.
Yeah,
like on an island for like 45 minutes. It was so boring. So Blade is awesome, man. It's
However,
Snipes We're talking about peak Will Smith. This is peak Wesley Snipes with a sword, tearing down vampires at like a rave
when
scene.
No
That's
one
like
knew
the opening scene of the movie.
Yeah,
right there. That's already like that should already be in like the top 4.
That's still one of the best
openings
of cartoon of comic book movies ever.
Oh yeah,
the Blade. The opening of Blade, and one of the best comic book movies.
Again, my point was not that Blade was not going to beat Phantom.
Listen,
my point
Phantom
was that Phantom
had a younger
Why do you
Catherine
love Phantom
Zeta-Jones
so much,
in it,
man?
though.
Come on.
I just feel like it was misplaced. I feel like you could do a new you could do Phantom now, and I feel like they would do a really great job with it because of what they can do.
Is a good movie. The Phantom is a good movie, especially since it has Billy Zane in it, which automatically meant it was going to be a sucky movie.
Yeah,
and it just wasn't. It refused to suck, and so it was. And like I said, it had a very young Catherine Zeta-Jones in it as the villain, so it works.
It works,
but it's
works.
not Blade.
No. All right, let's say this. James Quarandango says it was a Lone Ranger in a purple onesie. So moving on. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus the play-in winner, Steel. I mean, I'm going to start with this one. I'm wearing the shirt. It's the single best 90s comic book adaptation and possibly one of the best straight comic book adaptions. It takes all the best Eastman and Laird comics, which were they were the poop back then, okay? To refrain. They were so good. The black and white Eastman and Laird books were so good, and it took all the best elements and wrapped it around. I mean, I'm giving TMNT over Steel, hands down. Hassan?
Yeah, hands down.
Bobby?
Yeah, man. It's funny that the first Ninja Turtles is still the best Ninja Turtles.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Even with the animatronic suits and all that other stuff that they had, I still love that the best.
There's nothing wrong with those animatronic suits.
No, they look really good.
Gorgeous.
Yeah,
they're gorgeous.
Yeah, they look phenomenal.
Yeah,
right.
and then they were roundhouse kicking people in those things. I mean, those suits could move.
All right, so we're going to do one more matchup before we go to break. Would you be able to stick around for another segment?
Please. Hey, if you guys need me, then I'm here.
All right, because you're our third deciding voice here in this. So we're going to do one more matchup, and then we're going to try to break this down to an Elite 8 when we come back. But before we go, The Crow versus Darkman. I mean, I think this is This is pretty obvious. Darkman's clearly going to win this one.
Oh yeah, Darkman's going to win this one.
Bobby, give me your take on The Crow real quick before we go to break.
Greatest movie ever.
Crow, I feel like I don't know. There's a reason that they just haven't been able to remake this thing, and it just shouldn't be touched.
Yes.
You know, it is what it is. It's very much a relic of the time it was created. Obviously, it's Brandon Lee's final performance.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just such a weird, dark, twisted, quote unquote superhero movie, if you can call him a superhero. It's crazy and weird, but kind of great because of those reasons. So there you go.
Better than the comic book.
Yeah,
I read the actual comic, and the comic is not one of my favorite reads. Let's just say.
Yeah.
So The Crow is, and I read the comic because I love the movie so much.
Very rarely does that end up happening. All right, when we come back, Bobby Semelsberger is gonna stay here, and we're gonna get our most intriguing matchup of the night. I think is the Batman movies taking them on each other when we come back.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you into comics, movies, and pop culture at large? What about music and TV? Then you're in for a treat. This is Michael Dolce, your host on TalkingAlternative.com. I've been professionally writing comic books, screenplays, and music articles for almost 15 years. Catch my show, Secrets of the Sire, at its new primetime slot, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and get the inside scoop on the pop culture universe you love to talk about. For more info, go to secretsofthesire.com.
TalkingAlternative.com.
welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every week. Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, talkradio.nyc. You can always call in as well, to 877-480-4120. I'm joined by Bobby Semelsberger from That's So 90s podcast. Yeah, this is goodness. Now I'm like, I'm just feeling that last name.
We're going to just
you
use
guys
that
are
name.
nailing it. Oh my God, I've never
Feeling
heard
it
my
now.
name said so
There
fantastic.
you go.
Amazing.
There you go. So just a quick rundown for anybody that's just joining us right now. We are doing our top 16 because we can't get any more than that. We did name about 24 comic book movies, but but no love for Vanilla Ice.
Some of them does deserve to be on the list.
Right. We gave Generation X TV movie, not happening. No animated movies. Batman and Robin as a great bad movie, but we're trying to find the best of the best here, not the best of the worst.
Batman and Robin might be the best bad movie.
Yeah, it might be. It's up there.
It might be the greatest bad movie of all time.
So just to recap, we've got TMNT beating Steel. We've got Darkman over Mystery Men. Oh, sorry. We got Men in Black over Barbed Wire. We got Blade over Phantom. We got The Crow over Darkman.
Yes.
You can watch all this stuff going live. We actually are updating it as we speak on the Facebook page, facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire. Going into the 2 versus the 3. Now, this is where it gets very, very interesting, and I'm actually going to save the best for last, I think. Spawn. We're going to start with Spawn versus Rocketeer. This is a tough matchup here. Bobby, start us off. Who do you got in this and why?
Dude, I'm a big Rocketeer fan. I think that movie it's weird how it's just like nobody talks about that movie. Like if I were to go up to people and be like, hey, you ever heard of the Rocketeer? They'd be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. It's such a forgotten kind of classic. Like it's a really well-made movie. It's like it's directed by Joe Johnston, who eventually did the first Avenger, Captain America, the first Avenger,
Right.
and kind of brought that 90s, 1940s feel to that too. And it's just like he did that, but like 25 years earlier. So I'm like, why are we talking about the Rocketeer more, man? So I think Rocketeer needs some love, and I'm giving it to it right now.
I can't disagree with that, Hassan.
What were the two choices?
Spawn versus Rocketeer. I'm not going to actually. I'm not going to comment as to Spawn just yet until it's my turn. But I'm going to go Hassan next.
It's Rocketeer real easy.
It's real easy. Real easy. Rocketeer.
Plus, Jennifer Connelly's in it.
So this would be considered the first
winning.
upset. This would be considered the first upset. This is a 3 seed beating a 2 seed. Now, one might ask, why wasn't Rocketeer a 2 seed then? Spawn has the household name. Spawn has Todd McFarlane. Spawn has a lot of the HBO series behind it. I think from a sheer pop culture standpoint, it was worthy of a 2 seed. But this is the first upset in terms of an actual movie. I think Rocketeer hands down as well too.
Wow.
All right. Moving on to bracket number 2. This is a tough one, too, now. We're going to go Dick Tracy versus Judge Dredd. Hassan, start us off with this one.
All right. I love the Judge Dredd movie, but I never read the Judge Dredd comic book, which is why, as I'm told, I actually love the Judge Dredd movie. Everybody who's ever read that comic book has deducted that the reason I love that movie is because I never read the comic book. So, having read Dick Tracy and watched all the early TV shows and stuff about Dick Tracy, and also having the opinion that was a good movie, got to pick Dick Tracy.
Going Dick Tracy. Okay,
a better movie.
Bobby, what do you think?
I don't really feel like I have a dog in this fight, but I would say that I'm a big fan of the Judge Dredd movie, too. The one that came out in 2012, all right? So
that's just Dredd. Hello.
I'll get out of here.
Mr. Semelsberger. That is just Dredd. Don't be throwing in outliers.
Dude, Judge Dredd, just based on how I dislike Judge Dredd so much, I'm just going to give it to Dick Tracy, but really, I don't really care in this match that much.
So this matchup was an interesting matchup, and the reason I pitted these two against was I think it had the most recognizable stars in this, though. I mean, you have Dick Tracy's Warren Beatty. I mean, he's led in Sylvester Stallone. So in terms of like 70 stars who then ended up helming a comic book movie, I figured it was a good matchup. But
all right.
I'm going to give this one to Dick Tracy also.
But I mean, what, Al Pacino's in it?
I know, right.
Madonna,
I know.
William Forsythe. Everybody's in that.
It is.
Dustin Hoffman is in that darn movie. Yep. So, I mean, it was supposed to be bigger because it was right after the Batman movie.
Yep.
And they thought it was going to be another Batman, which is kind of like the same thing with Daredevil and Spider-Man.
Sure.
It was the same phenomenon. And because it didn't beat the Batman movie, it was considered a flop, but it actually was a good movie and it did well, but it just didn't meet their expectations.
Yeah.
So it's a great movie. I don't know how, I haven't seen it in years.
I know.
I don't know if I watched it now, if I would feel the same way, but I know it left a better impression.
Well, we'll definitely have to see. But for right now, we're going to go Dick Tracy over Judge Dredd, though a lot of fan chatter chanting Dredd and chanting Stallone, but our esteemed panel.
But Dredd, a lot of them are chanting Dredd from the 2012. They're not celebrating Stallone. Nobody celebrates that Stallone movie. I'm the only champion of that Stallone movie. Trust me.
Okay.
Trust me. I've had that argument with several people.
All right, we're gonna skip bracket 3 because I think that's got the most intriguing matchup, and we'll wait for the end. We're gonna go the two dark horse. Literally, they were dark horse characters: Tank Girl versus The Mask.
Ooh.
This is prime Jim Carrey.
Yes.
I mean, it's funny too because we had Batman Forever, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But this is like after Ace Ventura. And it was that string of Jim Carrey was just in every single movie that came out. But The Mask, I think, was one of the things that was his kind of solidified him as like a legit box office star.
Also, the vehicle for Cameron Diaz. That was the first time
I
don't know if that was her first movie, but that was her breakout.
Bobby, what do we think here?
Well, for me, this is an easy one because I have never seen Tank Girl.
Oh, easy.
And I don't know if that's like craziness or whatnot. And also, I love The Mask. I grew up with The Mask. And like you guys were just talking about, has there been a bigger year for maybe any actor of all time than Jim Carrey in 1994? He had 3 huge movies that year, including The Mask.
Yeah. Not only that, is The Mask... so there we have him as a 2 seed. We do. And I think we have legit number 1 seeds. But would this be... in your opinion, the biggest dark horse, again, I'm going to use that because it was published by Dark Horse Comics, to possibly win it all as a 2 seed? I mean, is The Mask that good that it can go up against some of our heavyweights later on?
I mean, I think if you're looking at pure adaptation, it's not anywhere near like what the source material is, because obviously that source material is way darker.
Sure.
But just as a film, as something that's fun and enjoyable and entertaining, and I look at the rest of this list that we have on the Facebook right now, I'd say it has a pretty good shot right now to come in either number 1 or pretty damn high.
All right. Well, we're gonna Hassan, do we have anything to add? Mask versus Tank Girl?
I got to pick Tank Girl.
Oh, wait a minute. All right.
Yeah.
So we're not walking away from this.
Tank. If we're going to talk about adaptation, Tank Girl is a way better adaptation than The Mask, and it's like I said before, it's audacious. It's almost it's almost an insult.
Wow. All right. So you are and Jersey Jedi Tank Girl, James Quarandongo Tank Girl. Yeah. Is this a potential upset?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or is it...
I just think I've seen The Mask. I enjoyed The Mask. I think it's a great movie. I think it's a Jim Carrey tour de force. And like I said, it's a Cameron Diaz's breakout.
Yeah.
But no.
Wow, going with Tank Girl. This is actually now turning in. Now it's all falls on my shoulder, and this is a lot of responsibility here. Okay, and I have to really calculate this and really ponder. I actually thought this was a walk off,
the throwaway, right?
Like a throwaway, because, and I think Bobby's going to have to go and see Tank Girl now. First,
yeah,
that's the first thing that happens.
Can we pause the show and go watch it
when we come back in 2 hours?
Going to rapidly, He's going to plug himself into the TV and just put it on fast forward. I've seen it.
This is all right.
It's fantastic.
I mean, this is the thing. We got a lot of folks online saying Tank Girl. We got Hassan making a strong argument. And we've got Jim Carrey in other movies as well too. I mean, this could be an upset in the making, and it all falls on my shoulders. I'm gonna actually go and concede my vote to Sam, though. Sam is now Sam, our engineer, is going to step in, and he's going to decide Mask or Tank Girl.
Come on, Sam.
I love The Mask, but Tank Girl rocks!
Yes! Engineer veto!
That's a 3-pointer at the buzzer! Oh my God! The Mask
winning.
Done! Stunning! Oh!
Don't hang up, Semelsberger. We know your name. Don't hang up.
Whoa! And I can't even believe it. Yeah. We've got a huge
I will
upset.
never watch Tank Girl ever.
All right. Well, we've got only about 2 minutes to go, so we got to move on to the most intriguing. But actually, that turned out to be the most intriguing thus far. But we've got a last segment in bracket 3: Batman Returns versus Batman Forever. I'm going to start. And I got Batman Forever over Batman Returns. I thought Batman Returns was such a slog of a movie. You're wasting performances by Michelle Pfeiffer. You're wasting Danny DeVito. It was like a Tim Burton film. It wasn't a Batman film. You know, Batman, the original one in 1989, which, again, the reason why the first Batman's not on this, because it would be easily a one seed. It would easily probably win the whole thing.
Probably.
But it came out in 1989, so it's not a 90s comic book movie. Keaton's the best Batman. I think we can all agree with that.
Road to Perdition,
right?
Which was a 2002 movie.
X-Men was 2000.
Right.
I mean, we've got stuff that
we got some strong stuff on the outskirts.
Yeah. I'm going to say I loved Jim Carrey's Riddler. I hated Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face because I thought that was just kind of a waste of having Tommy Lee Jones in it. Nicole Kidman, though, is so unbelievably gorgeous in this movie too. So that was just a winner in my book. I found Batman Returns to be unwatchable and a big disappointment. I felt it was a Tim Burton movie, not a Batman movie. Batman Forever, as middling as it might have been, was better, and was a Joel Schumacher. Even though it was Joel Schumacher, I thought it was an homage to the Adam West, and it was trying to bring it out. I was okay with it. Hassan, what do you think?
Batman Returns.
All right,
very sorry,
Bobby. We got 1 minute to go. Give us the Batman Returns versus Batman Forever. Why you're picking it, and then tell the folks where they can find your podcast.
Oh, dude, this is so difficult because if you'd asked me literally like a month ago, I would have been like, oh, Batman Forever. I love Batman Forever. But I just watched Batman Forever. And, dude, it's so boring. It's so middling. But so is Batman Returns. It's like, which one would I rather watch right now? I would rather watch neither. I'd rather watch Tank Girl. I don't even want to watch Tank Girl. Oh, God. I'm going to pick because it's a better, funner blockbuster, Batman Forever.
Batman Forever over Batman Returns. We love it. We love it. All right.
I want to hang up.
Bobby, tell us where they can find your podcast.
Yeah, you guys can find the podcast. You can find me on Twitter at ThatSo90sPod in the podcast. New episodes every week on SoundCloud, on iTunes. You just Google ThatSo90sPod, and it will pop up. Hey, thanks for having me on the show, guys. I loved it.
We enjoyed having you on as well. Next week, it's crossover time. We are crossing over with the 7 o'clock show, Is It Plugged In? Host Adam Jeffrey Weinberg. We're going to talk Power Rangers on our hour, and we're going to talk maybe the tech of the movie world, the comic book world. Who knows? We'll figure it out next week. Check us out at 7 o'clock next week. 7 o'clock into 8 o'clock. This has been Secrets of the Sire. Up next, It Came From the Radio.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Hello, I'm JC.
I'm Joan. And welcome to 21st Century Entrepreneur.
We bring education,
insight,
knowledge,
awareness,
trouble,
craziness, and fun
for you, the entrepreneur who's looking to build your business
and your community. Listen every Friday from noon to 1 Eastern on talkradio.nyc. And you can tweet us at 21st CE Radio or Talk Alternative.
Hey, all you crazy listeners. Looking to boost your business? Why not advertise on Talking Alternative with very reasonable rates? Interested? Simply email at info@talkingalternative.com.
Are you into comics, movies, and pop culture at large? What about music and TV? Then you're in for a treat. This is Michael Dolce, your host on talkingalternative.com. I've been professionally writing comic books, screenplays, and music articles for almost 15 years. Catch my show, Secrets of the Sire, at its new primetime slot, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and get the inside scoop on the pop culture universe you love to talk about. For more info, go to secretsofthesire.com.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network at www.talkingalternative.com. Now, broadcasting 24 hours a day. Talking Alternative.
Hi, Hi, this is Rob Kay.
And I'm Callie Alpert.
And we're hosts of The Rob and Callie Show. Are you looking for a show that talks about real stuff like life, love, the pursuit of being yourself?
Then you have come to the right place, because we cover topics ranging from chivalry to gratitude to your relationship with money and everything in between.
So listen to us on The Rob and Callie Show, Tuesdays, 8 to 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays, 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.